After some time, Richard again started feeling unease. Despite his improved financial situation and enough cushion to last him for years, he still felt anxiety about the future.
One potential trigger was the upcoming elections. Everything in them, from the TV coverage, politicians' speeches, and the so-called issues, felt eerily similar to every other bullshit election he'd seen in the past. His anxiety centered on the almost certain outcome. One gang of turds would be replaced by another gang of turds, while nothing substantive would actually happen. Even the proposed solution sounded like tired cliches on loop. Get rid of incumbents, bring in non-politicians, drain the swamp, blah, blah, blah. None of that crap had ever worked. Richard was racking his brain trying to figure out what, if anything, could generate real change, until he had an idea. Not a perfect one, but brutally simple. Any turd who wants to be elected has to explicitly commit, in writing, on camera, and legally binding, to promoting 3 things above all. Jobs for anyone who actually wants them. Wages that are worth dragging your ass out of bed for. 0 tax cuts, subsidies, or sweetheart deals for corporate pukes that ship jobs abroad or import foreign labor to compete with American citizens. No commitment, no vote. Stay home. Let the turnout look like a funeral for democracy. Feeling pretty pumped, Richard started drafting his manifesto. He called it, emphatically, the Corpse Doctrine. 3 promises or go fuck yourself. He recorded a video rant that was equal parts furious and hilarious, dropped it on every platform, and waited. It didn't just go viral, it detonated. Within 48 hours, it had 40 million views. His old fans from the Rage Song era flooded back. New ones joined. Hashtags Corpse Doctrine and 3 Promises or Die started trending worldwide. Even some jaded Zoomers were saying, this is the first political idea that doesn't make me want to touch grass, ironically. Then the politicians smelled opportunity. A surprisingly large number of candidates started copying the language. Some even signed the pledge on live television, looking like they were swallowing broken glass. Richard watched one slick senator do it and laughed so hard he almost choked on a Monster. But something felt off. He fired up Manipulate AI on a few of the early signers. The results were enlightening. One senator's profile came back, ENTJ, Master Manipulator. Suggested approach, he will say anything to win. Will betray the pledge the second the corporate donors call, best countered with public humiliation. Richard smiled like a man who'd just found the cheat code again. He went full corporate corpse mode. He started live streaming pledge checks, using the app to dissect every politician who signed on, exposing their past flip-flops, donor lists, and hidden H-1B hiring sprees in real time. The streams were vicious, funny, and surgically accurate. One congressman got caught so badly he had a full meltdown on camera and blamed AI Russian interference. The public ate it up. Then came the twist. On election night, something unprecedented happened. Voter turnout among working-age Americans was the lowest in modern history. The people who showed up were the diehards, but the politicians who had signed the Corpse Doctrine actually won in a landslide anyway. The ones who didn't sign got absolutely demolished. Richard sat in his basement, staring at the results in disbelief. His phone rang. It was the same 4-star general from World War III. Corpse, you magnificent bastard. You did it again. Richard rubbed his eyes. Did what? I told people not to vote unless they got real promises. Half the country stayed home, and the pledge signers still won. The general chuckled. Exactly. Turns out when you make the bar so low that don't actively screw over your own citizens is considered revolutionary, the only ones willing to sign it were the ones who actually meant it. The system was staying home. The system finally ate itself. Richard blinked. So it worked? Better than you know. The new Congress is already drafting legislation based on your 3 points. They're terrified of you. One of them told me privately they'd rather negotiate with North Korea than get dragged by corporate corpse again. 6 months later, Richard was invited to the White House for a private meeting with the new president. The president shook his hand warmly and said, "Richard, the country owes you. Because of you, we're finally putting American workers first. So, as a thank you, we'd like to appoint you Secretary of Labor." Richard stared at him for a long second. Then he grinned. "Fuck no. I've got nothing to lose, remember? But I'll take one better offer." She leaned in. Make Manipulate AI mandatory for every politician. Every time they even think about breaking the 3 promises, the app auto-tweets their hypocrisy to the entire country in their own voice. The president went pale. Richard stood up, cracked a fresh monster, and headed for the door. "Call me when you've made it official, Mr. President. Until then, I'll be in my basement, writing the sequel to Taking Shit at Work." He paused at the threshold. Working title, Taking Shit from Politicians. The End.